For USCFootball.com, I'm Keely Eure here with Dan Weber for instant analysis of USC's Wednesday practice of UCLA week. And after the fanfare of yesterday's practice, definitely no camera trucks for practice today. It seemed like we returned to business as usual. What did you think of practice today, Dan?
Well, I thought they really went very up-tempo, very fast-paced. Clay talked about it afterwards that because they know UCLA is going to go fast. If you ever remember the Oregon teams of Coach Kelly, but I thought I'd like it when USC goes fast. I thought that was, they were trying to replicate what UCLA is going to do, but they were also doing it on offense themselves, and I thought that's a good way for USC to play. I thought this practice had the kind of tempo you'd like to see every USC practice, and I thought they. Individually, you saw lots of guys running really fast. Both running backs. I thought Cedric is, for a guy who came out of the the Cal game with an AC sprain, and Vavai Malapai came out with a sprained ankle. I thought those two guys looked really good today. I thought they really hit it hard. I was just impressed with the whole practice in terms of the pace, the tempo. The competitiveness, that was a good, non-full pads practice, shoulder pads and helmets and shorts. That was a good practice.
Yeah. Today was the first day we got to talk to Iman Marshall since he didn't want to talk to the press after Saturday's loss to Cal. He said that he took the initiative to talk to the team and apologize to his teammates for the penalty that he had. He said, if anything, he wanted it to be a learning lesson. Clay Helton, when he was asked about it, seemed very proud of Biggie and how he handled it. He said he handled it like a pro, and it was a veteran move by Iman.
Yeah, I think the players, especially the younger guys, took it, as much as you can to heart. And we'll talk about maybe one who didn't quite get the message, but most of them I thought really said, yeah, that was, and they were just impressed with Biggie, who would say, hey, I screwed up. I shouldn't have let my team down by letting my emotions get the better of me, and hey, that's a kind of a good thing to happen this week, and it's the kind of thing you would expect from Iman. He's just. I know people got mad at him and all of that over the weekend, but he's a class kid and a class act, and I thought he handled it really well, and essentially everybody around the program thought he did.
Yeah, as you alluded to, one player that might not have gotten the memo. It was an interesting moment today during one-on-ones with the wide receivers and DBs going up against each other, kind of in a red zone type drill. It was Devin Williams versus Isaiah Langley. Those two are normally chatty to begin with, but put those two together in a drill, and it was pretty chatty. Isaiah Langley definitely got a little mouthy, and it was interesting. Bronny Bradford and Dave Campo, both DB coach and DB assistant consultant, immediately yelled, "Stop talking, shut up." They tried to get that talking, that mouthiness down on the down low a little bit, but it was an interesting fire that we haven't necessarily seen from those coaches.
Yeah, it was the first play. It was the first one-on-one, and they were talking at least a couple of words we're not going to say on instant analysis before they hit the ground. It was one of those plays where on the way to the ground you hear the word, and before they got up, you heard the coaches.
Yeah.
And they weren't just saying, stop talking. They were screaming, stop talking. And it was a good moment. I thought, oh, okay, that's good.
Yeah. There's a lot of attention to USC's defensive line members today after practice. We talked to Jake Lichtenstein, who's come on as of late. Clancy Prendergast says that he's trying to get the people who are playing well in practice into games, and that's what we're seeing with Lichtenstein.
Yeah, he's got that great frame, and he just, whenever he's been out there, he does something you notice. He make a play, tackle for a loss, he'll get his hand on a ball. 6'7", and he just, sometimes you worry about kids that are that big a frame. Can they, handle the guys getting underneath him and all that? He doesn't seem to, it doesn't seem to be a problem. And if you can handle yourself that way, you can make that frame work for you. You can extend, you can grab people, you can, get in the passing lanes and all that. So they've got a lot of things to look forward to. Talk to Marlon Tuipulotu, who's just coming around. He's so coachable. Spends so much time in the film room. Jay Tefele, one after another, you look at these guys and think, this is a team that starting, if you want to start up front, and if you want to, like with a UCLA team, you got to control the run, and that's where it starts with those guys. Serious group, that they're, that's a group USC people can feel good about for the next couple of years going. And I talked to Liam Jimmons, who just keeps getting bigger and bigger all the time. I mean, rangier, I guess. They're ended up with some defensive linemen that look like you want defensive linemen to look. 6'5", 295. That's a pretty good look.
Yeah. I know we sound pretty optimistic in today's incident analysis, and I know if you go back to last week's bunch of incident analysis, we were also positive about how players and coaches were practicing, and obviously the game didn't end out that way against Cal.
Although I would say, they gave up just 207 yards on defense, and so the results maybe didn't show up, and they had maybe as good a first half on offense as they've had all year. Unfortunately, you take a couple of plays away instead of they were up 14-0, probably could have been up 27-0. So in some ways they played well. The results didn't play out so well for them. I mean, I thought they were well prepared. What happened in the second half? They still don't. I mean, they can tell you. We had 2 false starts and 3 drop passes and a couple of sacks, and we had a lot of third and longs, and it didn't work out so well. But there was a lot of good. I mean, that was a good Cal defense, and they just shredded it the first half. The inability to take it for all 60 minutes is the thing they need to work on. I thought that was one of the good things of today's practice, is the ability to compete all the way to the end of practice. Now, how that carries over on Saturday, I don't think we know, but I think you got a better chance of having it carry over positively for Saturday if you do it all practice and you compete all practice and you finish up strong. I mean, we haven't praised them for some of the practices or a number of the practices. This was one I think deserves some praise. So
Yeah, well, what I was going to say is sometimes that there's a disconnect a little bit of what we see in practice this week versus what happens in the game. How do you see this game going based on what we know how this team performs and what we've seen in practice this week?
And I think if they play the Cal game all the way through, on offense, both halves, they don't have the mistakes. And the scout teams, I think, have been more challenging and have been more physical and have played a little faster and all of that, but it's still a scout team. And now you get into a game and you got somebody who's really going to be in your face and stepping on your feet and all those things that try to make life more difficult. And that's where they've got to be able to, overcome that. Was this enough to do that? It helped. I mean, I think today, helps them get game ready, but that's what you have to do in practice. You got to get game ready. And, we'll see. I mean, in UCLA, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Where are they, in terms of, this is a game that basically, they win this game, they've had almost a successful season. I mean, they'll forget the 8 losses. And their fans think, a lot of them think they're going to win this game, the way USC, has been performing. So, I mean, I'd much rather be trying to say, I think we can carry over yesterday's practice and today's practice into Saturday than to have to think, are we going to be able to, get it to where we need to have it, have it be to win this game. So I think they're giving themselves a chance the way they practice this week.
Yeah. From a USC point of view and from a coaching point of view, how important is this game against UCLA? I mean, it's essentially, we don't know how the Notre Dame game is going to go, but it's essentially one of the last chances to become bowl eligible. If you lose to a 2-8 or UCLA right now, that doesn't look very good. How important is this individual game for the course of the next couple weeks?
I mean, they've had a whole lot of them that you got to, you had to win the Oregon State game. You couldn't, lose that game after, obviously the Arizona State game, they could have controlled their destiny. They blew it and they didn't. They don't at all after losing the Cal game. But, they played 2 games that easily they could have come out, as a winner and did enough wrong things to not win. I don't think they've got that option this week. I think they got to play 60 minutes. They just got to play smart. Can't have any mistakes. Can't have any emotional, kind of breakdowns that cost you penalties. Just have to, can't have any snaps into the end zone. Basically, you can't. There's just so many things they can't give stuff away, and if they give that, if they give this game away, they've basically given the season away. I mean, you don't come back from losing. If you lose to UCLA, a 2-8 UCLA team that's obviously was at ground zero and just building with a new coach and whole new program, where do you go from that? I don't know where you go. I don't think there's any option for USC in this game. I mean, and you just want to say you play well, you compete hard, you don't screw up and all of that, and you let the score take care of itself and let everything else take care of it. I don't know that you can say that for this game. I think you got to win this game.
Yeah, I would definitely agree there. A quick injury update, as Dan mentioned, Cedric Ware, Vivai Malepeai, and Michael Pittman all look good to go for Saturday. Chuma Doga did not practice for a second day in a row, as well as Brandon Peely. He left earlier on Tuesday's practice with an ankle injury. He was not dressed out today, so those guys look questionable going forward. Jalen McKenzie is at that left tackle or right tackle. Left tackle? Right tackle. Yep. It's a long season. And Brandon Peely has the defensive rotation is filling in for Brandon Peely. But what do you expect from those guys?
Yeah, I was stunned by how Cedric and Vivai have come out this week. And Michael Pittman looks, quicker and stronger. And I think the time off was tough for him, but he really looks ready to go. I mean, and we don't know until you get hit on that shoulder and all that. But he looks. I give them really good marks for how fast they practiced today. I thought that was. There are times when you feel like you got to get it up. You got to get it going to get to game tempo and game speed and all that. You didn't have any sense of that today. I got the sense that that'll be plenty good enough. That's all you can ask right now.
Yeah, the O-line, D-line portion of practice was especially lively. That was interesting to watch. But finally, one last point to make. Clay Helton and USC as a whole had a special visitor at practice today, a cute little visitor, I might add.
Yeah, he was out there on the field with Clay and keeping up with practice. Just 3 years old. Grayson Osteen, 10 members of the family here. He's the youngest of 6 children. Big USC family. He's a big USC fan. Really can handle himself well. The amazing thing is he's got a prosthetic left leg. He had benign tumors, but basically cost him the tibia and the fibula. So right after he was born, they basically had to amputate below his knee, and he's got his USC leg, he calls it. It's cardinal and gold. He's got Sam Darnold's autograph on there, and he is so athletic, it's unbelievable. I mean, his ability to move and balance and just absolutely. And the USC kids were great and came over and signed his leg, signed all kinds of USC stuff that the family had on. But what a terrific kid! I mean, he's actually turned having that prosthetic leg into an advantage. I mean, he's got like more balance and more ability to do things. It was a very uplifting, thing to watch him out there, and his awareness. 3 years old, carrying a football out there, walking around with Clay. It looked like he absolutely knew what he was doing, and what they were doing, and that was pretty neat.
What does Mom show you that he could do?
He said, she picked him up and said, UCLA, and he said, sucks.
It was a cute moment. Perfect. It was a cute little kid for sure. That's going to wrap it up for USC's Wednesday practice. For Dan Weber, I'm Keely Eure. For more, check out uscfootball.com.